Right then, Forest faithful. Something massive is brewing at the City Ground. And if you think you know what's coming, think again. We've got 5 explosive stories that'll change how you see this season. There's a striker who's about to face the axe. A new signing who could transform our entire attack. A Brazilian defender caught in a bizarre contract battle. An injured midfielder giving us hope when we need it most. And a prediction that'll make every Tricky Trees fan believe in miracles. But here's what's got me buzzing, Reds. Each of these stories connects to something bigger. Something that shows this club isn't just surviving in the Premier League anymore. We're building something special, something that could shock the football world. Now, before we dive deep into the chaos, let me ask you this. Do you think Nuno's got what it takes to turn this squad into genuine European contenders? Because after what I've uncovered, that question isn't as mad as it sounds. Hit that like button if you're ready for the truth, and drop a comment telling me what you think our biggest priority should be right now. Trust me, after hearing these 5 revelations, your answer might completely change. The first bombshell involves our upcoming clash with Arsenal. And it's about their striker who was supposed to terrorize us. But something's gone seriously wrong for them, and it could be exactly what we need. Let's get into it. He was supposed to be the striker who'd give us nightmares. The $64 million man who'd tear apart Premier League defenses week after week. But something's gone horribly wrong, and Forest fans should be celebrating. I'm talking about Victor Gyökeres, and the stats from his latest performance are absolutely shocking. Picture this. Sweden versus Slovenia, World Cup qualifying, the perfect stage for Arsenal's new golden boy to show his class. Instead, Gyökeres delivered one of the most anonymous performances you'll ever see from a striker worth that much money. 90 minutes on the pitch, 47 touches of the ball. And here's the killer stat. 0 shots. Not one single attempt on goal. For a striker who costs more than our entire summer transfer budget, that's nothing short of embarrassing. But it gets worse for Arsenal. The physical duels that Arteta brought him in for? Complete disaster. Just 2 ground duels won all game, 0 aerial duels won, and he was dispossessed 3 times. This is the man who was supposed to dominate Premier League centre-backs with his power and aerial ability. 13 duels lost, Forest fans. 13! That's not just a bad day at the office, that's a complete breakdown of everything that made him special at Sporting Lisbon. Now, here's where it gets interesting for us. Arteta's facing a proper dilemma because Kai Havertz is injured, but after watching Gyökeres get bullied by Slovenia's defense, can he really trust him against our centre-backs? Think about Murillo's pace and physicality. Think about how aggressive we've become under Nuno. If Gyökeres is struggling against international defenders, what's going to happen when he faces the intensity we bring at the City Ground? The Swedish media are already questioning whether he's mentally ready for this level. One performance analyst said his confidence looked completely shattered after that Slovenia game. What do you reckon, Reds? Would you rather face a confident Gyökeres or this broken version we're seeing now? Comment below because I want to hear your thoughts. But if you think that's the only attacking crisis we need to discuss, wait until you hear about our own attacking solutions. We've got a problem, Forest fans, and it showed up in the most brutal way possible against West Ham. But before you panic, we might just have found the perfect solution. Our attacking play has been slower than a Sunday morning stroll, and the stats from that 3-0 home defeat tell the whole story. We dominated possession with 58%, completed more passes than them, but here's the crushing reality. Our expected goals in open play was just 0.61 compared to their 1.45. That means with all our possession, all our neat passing, we created almost nothing dangerous. We had 6 successful dribbles all game. 6! That's relegation level creativity, and Nuno knows it. Enter Delane Bakwa, the $35 million deadline day signing who chose us over Leeds and Sunderland. But here's what most fans don't realize. This signing isn't just about adding another player. It's about completely transforming how we attack. Bakwa brings something we've been desperately missing. Pace and directness on the right wing. At Strasbourg last season, he provided 8 assists. And more importantly, he's the type of player who can beat defenders one-on-one and create chances from nothing. But here's Nuno's masterstroke, and it's something the tactical analysts are already picking up on. Bringing in Bakwa doesn't just improve our right side, it could unlock Dan Ndoye's best position. Ndoye's been brilliant for us, don't get me wrong, but his pass accuracy has been just 70% so far. That's because he's playing on the right. But at Bologna last season, his creativity was much stronger from the left wing. 5 assists from that position compared to just 1 from the right. The solution is obvious. Move Ndoye to the left where he can create. Put Bakwa on the right where he can terrorize defenders. And suddenly we've got pace and creativity on both flanks. Think about what that does to teams who sit deep against us. Instead of predictable possession football, we'd have 2 wingers who can beat their markers and create something from nothing. Nuno needs to set Bakwa a clear challenge. Prove you can be the player who changes our entire attacking dynamic. Because right now, our expected goals numbers suggest we're playing like a team heading for relegation, not Europe. Do you think Bakwa's pace and directness is exactly what we've been missing, or are you worried about throwing a new signing straight into Premier League intensity? The next story gets even more interesting because it involves a player who's already left us but might reveal something crucial about how serious this club has become. This next story sounds mental at first, but when you dig deeper, it reveals something massive about where this club is heading. We sold Cuiabano to Botafogo, right? Brazilian left back. Did well for us, moved on. Standard transfer business. But then something extraordinary happened that shows just how seriously this club is taking player development. Botafogo wanted him back on loan immediately, and normally that would be straightforward. Club needs a player, we loan him out, everyone's happy. But Forest's demands were absolutely mental, and they reveal the level of professionalism this club is operating at now. First demand, minimum playing time guarantees. We're not letting Cuiabano sit on Botafogo's bench. He plays regularly or the deal's off. Second demand, complete physical monitoring and nutrition program. Every training session tracked, every meal planned, every fitness metric recorded and sent back to us. Third demand, and this is where it gets really interesting, mandatory English lessons. Because we're planning for him to come back to Nottingham in January 2026 and he needs to be ready to integrate immediately. Now, Forest fans, think about what this actually means. We're not just selling players anymore. We're creating a development pipeline that ensures every player we invest in becomes better, whether they're here or elsewhere. This is the mentality of a club that's thinking 5 years ahead, not 5 months. We're building a reputation as a club that develops players properly, that cares about their progression, and that operates with the kind of professionalism that attracts top talent. Cuiabano played 60 games for Botafogo, contributed 7 goals and 7 assists. That's a player who's proven himself at international level, and we're making sure he comes back to us as an even better player. But here's the really clever bit. While we're developing Cuiabano in Brazil, we've brought in other defenders, tested different systems, and by the time he returns, we'll know exactly where he fits in our long-term plans. This isn't just about one player, Forest fans. This is about building the kind of club that can compete with the established Premier League powers. When Arsenal or Liverpool develop players, they do it with this level of detail and planning. The fact that we're demanding English lessons shows we're not planning to sell Cuiabano again. We're planning for him to be part of our future, and that future involves consistent Premier League football. What do you think about these kinds of contract demands? Are we right to be this controlling, or should we just let players get on with their careers? Speaking of players getting ready for our future, there's some brilliant news about someone whose return could change everything. Sometimes the most important news doesn't come with big headlines or transfer announcements. Sometimes it's just a photo on Instagram that tells you everything's about to change. Nicolas Dominguez posted an image that's got every Forest fan who understands football properly buzzing with excitement. Football boots on, training gear ready, walking out onto the grass. 3 emojis: a football, an egg timer, and a flexing muscle. For anyone who's forgotten, let me remind you what we lost when Dominguez went down against Chelsea in May. This wasn't just any midfielder getting injured. This was the player who transformed our engine room. The Argentine who brought Premier League level technical ability to our midfield. The injury looked horrific at the time. Noni Madueke's challenge left him needing medical support just to get off the pitch, and the reports from Argentina suggested at least 4 months out with a serious meniscus injury in his left leg. 4 months that turned into the entire summer. 4 months of watching Ibrahim Sangare and Elliot Anderson do their best in positions that were crying out for Dominguez's quality and experience. But here's why this return is absolutely massive for us. Nuno's been working with a midfield partnership that's energetic but lacks the kind of composure Dominguez brings. That's not a criticism of Sangare or Anderson, but Dominguez operates on a different level entirely. He's the type of midfielder who can receive the ball under pressure, turn, and find a forward pass that opens up the entire game. He's got the experience of playing at the highest level, and more importantly, he understands exactly what Nuno wants from his system. The timing couldn't be better either. We're about to enter the most crucial part of our season. Europa League starting, tougher Premier League fixtures coming up, and the need for squad rotation becoming essential. Having Dominguez available gives Nuno options he simply hasn't had so far this season. Want to control games better? Dominguez can do that. Need more creativity from deep? Dominguez can do that. Want someone who can break up play and immediately start attacks? That's exactly what he does. But the most encouraging thing about that Instagram post wasn't just seeing him in training gear. It was the confidence in his body language. The fact that he's clearly being included in long-term plans again. Remember, he's been named in our Europa League squad, which means the medical team believes he'll be available for those crucial European nights at the City Ground. Do you think Dominguez coming back could be the difference between a good season and a great one? Or are you worried about rushing him back too quickly? The final story is gonna blow your mind because it involves a prediction that sounds completely mad until you realize who's making it. Right. Forest fans, this final story is gonna sound absolutely mental, but hear me out because the person making this prediction knows exactly what it takes to win European trophies. Jarrod Bowen, West Ham's star player, the man who scored the winner in the 2023 Europa Conference League final, has just tipped Nottingham Forest to win the Europa League this season. When TalkSport asked him who he fancied for European glory, his answer was immediate. I fancy Forest, you know. Now, before you start laughing, remember who this is coming from. Bowen isn't just any Premier League player throwing around casual predictions. He's someone who's actually lifted a European trophy, someone who knows the mentality and squad depth needed to go all the way. And when you look at our Europa League squad, his confidence starts making sense. The depth Nuno's built is genuinely impressive. Quality options in every position, experience mixed with hunger, and a manager who's proven himself in European competition. But here's what makes this prediction even more interesting. Even our own owner, Evangelos Marinakis, said before the draw that Forest would go far in Europe. That's not just optimism, that's expectation from someone who's invested serious money in making it happen. The squad omissions tell their own story too. Leaving out record signing Omari Hutchinson from the Europa League list shows just how much quality we've got. When you can afford to drop a player who costs that much, you know your squad's got serious depth. Think about the teams we're competing against in this competition. Yes, there are some big names, but how many of them have the kind of squad unity and hunger that we've built? How many have a manager who's as tactically astute as Nuno? European competition is different from the Premier League. It's about managing games, rotating squads, and having players who can step up in big moments. Look at our options: experienced defenders, creative midfielders, pace in attack, and a goalkeeper who's proven at this level. But the most important factor might be the City Ground itself. European nights under the lights, with our fans creating that atmosphere, that's when this club becomes something special. Teams come to Nottingham and find themselves overwhelmed by the intensity. Bowen's seen that firsthand when he played here. He knows what it's like to face Forest when the crowd's up for it, when the players believe anything's possible. What do you reckon, Forest fans? Is Bowen mad to think we can win the Europa League, or is he seeing something the rest of football hasn't caught up with yet? This season feels different, doesn't it? The quality in the squad, the European nights coming back, the sense that this club isn't just surviving anymore, but actually building something that could shock everyone. What's your prediction for our Europa League campaign? Drop it in the comments, smash that like button if you believe we can go all the way, and make sure you're subscribed because the next few months are going to be absolutely mental. The question isn't whether we belong in Europe anymore, it's how far we're willing to dream.